Disability Month.
I like that one.
Thank you.
What are the different meanings?
So it represents all the different disabilities, like physical, mental, all the, yeah.
And the one last time was Pride Month?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What is the ring on the Pride Month one?
That is for intersex people.
Okay, great. All right, awesome. Cool. Disabilities.
Yeah, July is Disability Pride Month, so.
I didn't know that. Now I do.
There
Thank
you go. Take care.
Good job. By the way, I'm with 3 houses up.
Oh, I'm Cass.
Cass. Okay.
Yep.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
They're trying to turn July into a disability rainbow flag Pride Month.
Who is they, Joe? No, seriously, who is they? Because every time one of you discount bin culture war prophets says they're trying to, what follows is almost never evidence. It's usually just something you heard from a guy named Dale who thinks Facebook memes count as peer review. Disability Pride Month is not some secret LGBTQ takeover of July. Disabled people exist. Disabled LGBTQ people exist. And people can belong to more than one community at the same time. I know, that might be hard to process when your worldview has the emotional range of a gas station hot dog roller. But stay with me. Disability Pride goes back to the disability rights movement and the ADA being signed in July of 1990. It did not fall out of drag brunch pinata last week. And the Disability Pride flags are not owned exclusively by LGBTQ people. Countries have flags. Sports teams have flags. Pirates have flags. Half the dudes crying about rainbow flags have a Southern Pride flag hanging off the back of their truck they're 3 payments behind on. So again, Joe, who is they? Because unless you have a source, a memo, a secret disability gay cabal newsletter, or Professor X rolling up like, to me, my DEI initiatives, what you have is not an argument. It's panic with sunglasses on. Disabled people are not stealing July. They are claiming visibility in a world that treats accessibility like an optional upgrade. And you're mad because somewhere along the way, somebody convinced you that compassion is oppression. And that's not politics, Joe. That's just being an asshole with bad research.
Autism is because of sin. And I need you all to stick with me until the end. See, your children not talking, people who are deaf, that anxiety, depression, ADHD, your bad attitude, and your complaining, it's all because of sin. It's the sin that entered this world when Adam and Eve disobeyed God. And see, I am convinced of this. People who believe that God created them with autism or any sickness, disease, or disorder, they don't truly know God. Because if they knew him and his nature, his love for all humanity, it would never come from their lips.
Sis, respectfully, this ain't it. You got to keep in mind that not everybody with a disability views themselves as something that's broken that needs to be fixed. So when you say things like, oh, you're like this because of sin or because of Adam and Eve, not only are you dehumanizing them, but you're stripping them of their individual agency. Because why would they have to pay for something that Adam and Eve did? Especially if you teach that Jesus Christ died for our sins. Also, in John chapter 9, verses 1 through 3, Jesus rejects the idea that disabilities are a punishment for sin. Also, in Exodus chapter 4, verse 11, it literally says that God alone makes a person deaf or blind. So this is literally a contradiction to the Bible. Now, I didn't want to make this video too long, so I didn't include the full video here. But if you do want to check it out for yourself, then I'm going to leave her page on the screen.
Yo, older millennial, I have a question. Do you still believe that mentally disabled people should be thrown off a mountain?
Yeah, because they're liberals.
Hey, did you know know that July is Disability Pride Month? And no, it isn't about celebrating disability itself. It's about celebrating people who spent generations being treated like half humans. People fighting to be treated like regular human beings. July was chosen because the landmark Americans with Disability Act, or the ADA, was signed into law on July 26, 1990. Before that, millions of disabled Americans were legally shut out of schools, jobs, transportation, and even public buildings. The ADA didn't magically end discrimination. It simply made exclusion illegal. That's why Disability Pride Month still matters. Disabled people are still more likely to face unemployment, job loss, poverty, inaccessible housing, and even barriers to their health care. And having accessibility isn't a luxury. It's justice. A truly progressive society isn't judged by how it treats the wealthy or the powerful. It's judged by whether anyone can participate equally regardless of ability. So this July, don't just recognize Disability Pride Month. Learn its history, learn from disabled voices, and keep fighting for a world where inclusion isn't optional, it's the norm.
Disability Pride Month has officially started today. It is observed every July because that's when the Americans with Disabilities Act, or the ADA, was signed into law on July 26th of 1990. This month, we're celebrating the diversity of disabled people, we're raising awareness around disability, we're challenging stereotypes and misconceptions, and promoting inclusion in every part of society. This is a Disability Pride flag. It was made by Anne Magel, and I thought what better way to start this month than to explain what each color means. So me and my mom went to a craft store, I picked out my colors in yarn, and in this video I'm going to explain each color of the Disability Pride flag while I make it into a pretty bracelet. Starting off with red. Red is for all physical disabilities. There are so many of these. Think arthritis, a spinal cord injury, an amputation. Next up is gold. Gold is for neurodivergence. Think about ADHD, OCD, autism spectrum disorder, Tourette syndrome, and many others. Then we've got white. White is for non-visible disabilities or undiagnosed conditions. Diabetes, asthma, Crohn's disease, POTS, long COVID, ME, endometriosis. There are so many invisible disabilities. Then we've got blue. Blue is for mental health disorders, anxiety disorders, trauma-related disorders, depression, eating disorders as well, and once again, many more. Then we've got green. Green is for sensory disorders, stuff like deafness, blindness, just anything to do with your senses. And then you might notice the dark background that the flag has, this very dark grayish color. The dark base is representative of the mourning of disabled people who were victimized by ableism or lost to disability-fueled violence, abuse, or ignorance. I hope learning about the Disability Pride flag helped you understand the meaning behind the colors and why this month is so important. Here's my finished bracelet. I really enjoyed making this, and I encourage you to do something with the flag as well. Make it your profile picture, anything. If you've made something as well, you can always send me a picture. I'd love to see it. And let me know in the comments which color stood out to you the most. Thanks for watching, and happy Disability Pride Month.
Happy Disability Pride Month, hoes! And the theme for 2026 is The World Works Better With Us, which honestly couldn't be any more perfect right now because it emphasizes that when people with disabilities are included, respected, and supported, it benefits everyone. So, in case you didn't know, Disability Pride Month is celebrated every July in order to commemorate the signing of the ADA in July of 1990. And so, it's a time to celebrate identity, honor the history of the disability rights movement, reclaim visibility in public, and spread awareness. And it also seeks to change the way people think about and view disability to try and end some of the harmful stigmas and stereotypes that unfortunately are often associated with disability, because the reality is disability is a normal part of human diversity. In fact, people with disabilities make up 15% of the world's population and represent the largest and most diverse minority in the United States, with roughly 26% of the population, with people from every age, race, ethnicity, religion, and socioeconomic background. Like, disability does not discriminate. And that's why this year's theme of The World Works Better With Us so perfectly highlights a simple truth, that when people with disabilities are included, valued, and empowered, it benefits everyone. Accessible and inclusive communities foster innovation, strengthen connections, and create opportunity and spaces for everyone to participate and thrive. Because sadly, many times, it is actually society and inaccessibility that truly disable people. And actually, a great quote from an amazing woman sums it up perfectly. Disability only becomes a tragedy when society fails to provide the things we need to lead our lives. But again, happy Disability Pride Month, hoes! And make sure you're following along and on the lookout for more content coming all month long. But as always, I hope that helped, and I'll see you bitches next time. Love you, hoes! Bye!
July is Disability Pride Month. But what is Disability Pride Month and why does it matter? The Americans with Disabilities Act was signed into law on July 26th of 1990. After this, for years people celebrated Disability Pride Day. It wasn't until July of 2015 when July was officially declared Disability Pride Month. But why do disabled people deserve a whole month of recognition? Part of the reason is because disabled people weren't allowed in public spaces in the US until the year 1974. This is when the ugly laws were finally repealed in all US states and cities. But just because we were allowed in public didn't mean that we could really go anywhere. It wasn't until 16 years later that we finally got accessibility rights. This meant there were no curb cuts, public spaces did not have to have elevators. Basically, nothing had to be accessible. This is only one of the many reasons Disability Pride Month is so important. Society tells us that being disabled is a bad thing, and not to embrace our disabilities. Please stay tuned for more disability history and facts as the month continues. How are you celebrating this month? Happy Disability Pride!
Happy Disability Pride Month. Did you know that July is Disability Pride Month and there's actually a Disability Pride flag? Well, let's talk about it. So the Americans with Disabilities Act, also known as ADA, was signed into law by President George H.W. Bush on July 26, 1990. And this law, the ADA, actually prohibits discrimination against disabled people. So Disability Pride was started on that year, 1990, as a celebration just on that day, on July 26th. And the first official Disability Pride Month did not occur until the 25th anniversary of the ADA in 2015. And then the original Disability Pride flag was created in 2019 by writer Anne McGill, who has cerebral palsy. And Anne McGill was inspired to create a Disability Pride flag when she was actually at an event for the 20th anniversary for the ADA, and this event was underground at an independent living center. And Anne McGill was really disappointed that this event was underground and not out in public, showing the whole world, all of our disability pride. So therefore, she was inspired to create a Disability Pride flag. The original Disability Pride flag that Anne McGill created had very brightly colored stripes that were zigzagging over a black background. And the zigzagging stripes were supposed to represent all the barriers that disability people face on a daily basis. Unfortunately, the original Disability Pride flag was inaccessible to people with certain visual disabilities, and it would trigger their symptoms. So, with the help of the disability community, Anne created this new Disability Pride flag in 2021. And this Disability Pride flag has so much meaning. So, let's talk about it. So first of all, the red stripe represents those with physical disabilities, such as those with mobility impairments, limb differences, chronic pain, and other conditions that affect the body's structure or function. Next, the gold stripe represents neurodiversity, such as those with autism, Down syndrome, ADHD, and other learning and cognitive disabilities. And then in the middle, we have that white stripe, and that represents those with invisible disabilities, as well as those who have not yet been diagnosed. So invisible disabilities, those are just any disabilities that you cannot see, like certain chronic illnesses, for example. And then that blue stripe, that represents emotional and psychiatric disabilities, like your mental illnesses, for example, like anxiety and depression. And then the green stripe, that represents those with sensory disabilities. So that would include those who are deaf or blind, or those who lack the sense of smell, like with parosmia, or lack this, their taste, or those who have like auditory processing disorder, any sensory disabilities. And the faded black background is for our mourning and rage for the victims of ableist violence and abuse. This diagonal band is actually meant to represent us cutting through the walls and the barriers that separate disabled people from the rest of society. It's also meant to represent the light and creativity that is cutting through the darkness. Remember that you can still be proud to be disabled and proud to be a part of the disability community without having to necessarily love your disability. You can still be proud of everything that we've overcome as a disability community and all the things that you overcome on a daily basis as a disability person. As a disabled person, excuse me, I'm just getting a little tongue-tied here. That is something to be proud of, and you can have disability pride about that. That's okay. That doesn't mean you have to necessarily love your disability. Those two things are not mutually exclusive. Let me know what questions you have, and please get out there and show your disability pride this month, and get a disability pride flag and show the world that you're proud to be disabled and you're proud to be a part of this disability community. I love you all. Bye.
Abby, how are you?
Why are you in your closet?
Because this is where I do my TikTok.
Why?
It's like I made a desk area and this is where I do it.
I do mine in my bedroom, but why do you choose to do your closet?
Because I just told to do it in the closet.
You were told to do it in the closet, so you just listened?
I chose.
Oh, you chose to do it in the closet?
Yeah, because this is the best space. Look.
Isn't that kind of a tiny space for you?
What?
Hmm?
What's that?
Why do you choose to do it in the closet?
Because that's the best space for the
But
wheel.
why?
I've got no space in the bedroom to put a wheelchair. I've got no space.
So you're saying your closet is bigger than your bedroom?
No, because the bed is in the way.
So your closet is bigger than your bedroom?
Are you taking the mic?
But is your closet bigger than your bedroom? That doesn't really make sense.
You want to do a battle?
No, I'm asking a very simple question.
Are you going to just sit here and violate me then?
I'm asking you a question, sir.
What? No, it's not bigger than my bedroom. It's just a bed. It's not.
So your closet is bigger than your bedroom?
No.
That makes zero sense to me, sir.
If you understood that being in a wheelchair, that if there's a bed in the room, it limits the maneuver space. I can get in and out. It limits the maneuver
Right.
space.
So if you have a home where you are in a wheelchair, and wouldn't your home be built in order for you to move around and navigate in a wheelchair?
No.
Why not?
One day, I will get that one day.
I don't really understand that. Actually makes zero logical sense.
You know what? I don't know why.
You don't know why what?
How can you... I have been given a...
Why are you in a wheelchair?
I was born like this.
Why are you in a wheelchair? I didn't ask you were born like this. Why are you in one?
I was born with cerebral palsy.
You were?
Have you heard of cerebral palsy?
Yes, and
Palsy.
you were?
Have you heard of cerebral palsy?
Yes, and that's a common sense fucking question, sir. I asked you why, if you're in a wheelchair, since the day you were born, is your closet more navigatable than your bedroom, sir?
Can I just say something before I go?
Also, your words and your mouth movements do not match, sir. Nor do your hand movements. Please stop. Because what you are actually doing, sir, is you are violating the people who do deserve to have disability. Okay? And for one moment, if you're going to tell me that your closet is bigger than your bedroom, sir, and that you can navigate your bedroom better than your closet better than your bedroom, that makes zero logical sense. Would you agree with me?
When the clock strikes midnight tonight, it will be Disability Pride Month. There will be no flashy merchandise. Companies will not change their logos if they even know what our pride flag looks like, and celebrities will not be talking about it. And disabled people will still be fighting for equity and equality.
Being expressive, to allow myself to show people as a canvas of who I am without holding back or restrictions.
What makes me proud is my daughter every day and the accomplishments that she makes. Grateful to YAI.
What makes me proud is walking with this organization because we're all about seeing beyond and being your true self.
Oh, what the heck? What day is it? July 1st. It's Disability Pride Month! Oh my god, I'm so excited! So yes, July is officially Disability Pride Month, and you might be wondering, why July, Allison? I would love to tell you. So the ADA, which we love, the Americans with Disabilities Act, that prohibits the discrimination against disabled people, that was signed into law by President George Bush Sr., of course, on July 26th of 1990. But the first Disability Pride Month being July was not until 2015, actually, which is kind of wild, but I'm glad we're doing it now. That's all that matters. And if you're wondering, what's that thing on your shirt? This is the Disability Pride flag. And it's got a lot of meaning behind it. It's not just pretty colors and a cool design. Let's talk about it. So writer Anne McGill, she has cerebral palsy. She actually created the original Disability Pride flag in 2019. And it didn't look exactly like this. This is the updated version that was changed in 2021 for reasons that I'll explain here in a second. So I'm not going to show the original Disability Pride flag because the reason the original Disability Pride flag is no longer used is because it's inaccessible. And as soon as I put that flag on this video is no longer accessible to many people in the disabled community. And if I want to make a video about Disability Pride, that makes no sense to me. So you can Google if you want to look it up. Essentially, it's similar to this, but it has zigzags. The colors were much more vibrant and bright. It was not good for people with seizures, migraines, you know, all sorts of issues and pains and stuff. This flag is much more muted and easier on the eye, so that's why we changed it. So first, the background is black, and the black is meant to represent our rage as disabled people against the violence and ableism towards us as a community. It's a dark history, you know what I mean? Pretty dark. So the black is because we're in mourning, technically. We're in mourning of this violence and ableism that we are trying to overcome, eliminate, eradicate. That's probably a better word. And the lines are at a diagonal like this because they're sort of like we're cutting through, we're breaking down barriers that have been set in place against disabled people. And then each of these individual colors just represents a different type of disability. I couldn't think of the word there. So the green stripe up top, that is for sensory disabilities, people with like parosmia, or people who are deaf or hard of hearing or blind. The blue is for psychiatric disabilities like anxiety, depression. The white is for all the invisible disabilities as well as the undiagnosed disabilities. Because even if you're not diagnosed, you still are disabled. You are still ill. Just because you don't have a label, a name for it, that doesn't mean you're not disabled. You know what I mean? And that's really important to me for people to understand. The yellow stripe, or gold, is for neurodivergent individuals. And then the red is for people with physical disabilities. And the thing to remember is that you don't have to love your disability. You can hate it. You can hate it, because I hate it. It sucks. It's fucking miserable. We live in a world, a society that is not made for the disabled. So it is really hard to fucking live, you know what I mean? You can hate it, but you can still have disability pride. You can still be proud as fuck in yourself that you get up every freaking day with that gosh damn disability and you still go out and live your life. Like, that is something to be very proud of, for sure. Like, especially considering all the like barriers that exist in our world. Be very proud of yourself. Be very proud. Yeah, hate it. Hate it. It fucking sucks, for sure. Hate it. You don't have to love it, but you can be proud of yourself for living that disabled life. Sorry, anyways, that's my soapbox. So happy Disability Pride. Yeah, we may hate it, but we're tough as nails. I don't know what to say. We go through a lot of shit. I don't know. It really sucks because your society you built is terrible for us. I don't know what else to tell you, so I'm proud of myself for having to be here, for still being here in this freaking place. But anyways, let me know what questions you have, any other thoughts or anything. I love you all. Bye! Happy Disability Pride! Woo!
The 5 different colors striped represent different segments of the disability community. Red for physical disabilities, gold for neurodiversity, white for invisible disabilities or those that haven't been diagnosed, blue for emotional and psychiatric disabilities, and green for sensory disabilities such as deafness, blindness, and processing disorders. The background of the flag is a faded black, representing the mourning and rage for victims of ableism, violence, and abuse.
Thank you so much for celebrating with us. Happy Disability Pride Month.